Shiva is one of the principal deities of Hinduism, forming part of the Trimurti alongside Brahma and Vishnu, where he holds the role of the destroyer and the transformer. This multi-armed god is typically depicted with 4 arms, a third eye positioned vertically on his forehead, and blue skin from drinking poison to save the universe during the churning of the cosmic ocean, an act that earned him the name Neelakantha. He resides on Mount Kailash in the Himalayas with his consort Parvati, and his most iconic form shows him performing the Tandava, a cosmic dance that represents the eternal cycles of creation and destruction. His third eye releases divine fire capable of destroying anything in its path, while the Ganges River flows from his matted hair locks, adorned with a crescent moon. Shiva rides Nandi, a sacred white bull, and wields a trident called the Trishula that symbolizes the 3 fundamental aspects of existence: creation, preservation, and destruction. A cobra wraps around his neck as an ornament, and he often wears tiger skin, with his body covered in sacred ash. Worship of Shiva, known as Shaivism, represents one of the major Hindu traditions, with devotees numbering in the hundreds of millions across India, Nepal, and beyond, making him central to understanding Hindu philosophy about the cyclical nature of the universe and the necessity of transformation through destruction. Amaterasu is the sun goddess, and one of the most important deities in Shinto, Japan's indigenous religion, revered as the ancestor of the Japanese imperial family and the ruler of Takamagahara, the high celestial plane. According to the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, ancient chronicles compiled in 712 CE and 720 CE respectively, she was born from the left eye of the primordial god Izanagi during his purification ritual. Her most famous mythological episode involves hiding in the Amano Iwado cave after a violent conflict with her brother Susanoo, the storm god, plunging the entire world into darkness until the other gods lured her out using a sacred mirror, jewel, and an enticing dance performed by the goddess Amino Uzumi. These 3 objects, the mirror Yat no Kagami, the sword Kusanagi, and the jewel Yasakani no Magatama, became the imperial regalia of Japan, symbolizing the divine right to rule. Her principal shrine, the Grand Shrine of Ise, known as Ise-jingu, has been rebuilt every 20 years for over 1,300 years, in a tradition called Shikinen Sengu, maintaining its purity and connection to ancient practices. Japanese emperors claimed direct descent from Amaterasu for centuries, legitimizing their rule through divine ancestry, and her symbol appears on the Japanese flag as the red solar disk against white, representing her eternal light and the nation's identity rooted in Shinto tradition and cosmic order. Ganesha. Ganesha is one of the most widely worshipped deities across Hinduism, instantly recognizable by his elephant head atop a human body, serving as the remover of obstacles and the god of beginnings, wisdom, and prosperity. According to Hindu tradition, Parvati created him from sandalwood paste or turmeric to guard her chambers while she bathed, but when Shiva returned and found an unknown boy blocking his path, he beheaded Ganesha in anger, without realizing the child's identity. To restore life to Ganesha and console the devastated Parvati, Shiva instructed his attendants to bring the head of the first creature they encountered traveling north, which happened to be an elephant, and this head was placed upon the boy's shoulders, reviving him in his now iconic form. Ganesha is typically depicted with 4 arms holding an axe to cut attachments, a rope to pull devotees closer to truth, a modak sweet representing the rewards of spiritual practice, and one hand in a blessing gesture, while his large belly symbolizes the ability to digest all experiences, both good and bad. His vehicle is Mushika, a tiny mouse or rat, representing how even the smallest creatures can overcome massive obstacles when blessed with divine grace. Devotees invoke Ganesha before starting any new venture, journey, business, or prayer ceremony, and his birthday celebration Ganesh Chaturthi draws millions of participants annually, making him central to Hindu religious and cultural life across India and diaspora communities worldwide. Jade Emperor. The Jade Emperor, known as Yuhuang Dadi or Yu Huang, is the supreme deity in Chinese folk religion and Taoism, ruling heaven and all realms of existence from the highest celestial palace as the ultimate cosmic bureaucrat. According to tradition, he was originally a crown prince, who relinquished his throne to help people and cultivate the Tao, and after enduring 3,200 trials, lasting 3 million years, he attained immortality and ascended to become the supreme ruler of the heavens. His worship became consolidated during the Song dynasty between 960 and 1279 CE, and he oversees a vast heavenly administration that mirrors the structure of Chinese imperial government, with ministries, departments, and subordinate deities who report to him like government officials, submitting reports to an emperor. He is depicted wearing ornate dragon-embroidered robes in gold and imperial yellow, a tall ceremonial hat with beaded curtains, and holding a jade scepter while seated on an elaborate throne surrounded by clouds and celestial attendants. The Jade Emperor administers karma, determines the fortune of individuals and nations, and commands the 4 heavenly kings who guard the 4 cardinal directions of the cosmos. His birthday is celebrated on the 9th day of the first lunar month with offerings of incense, fruit, and prayers at household altars throughout China, Taiwan, and Chinese diaspora communities. He represents the Chinese cultural ideal of meritocracy and earned authority through cultivation and virtue rather than birth, and his influence shaped East Asian concepts of cosmic order, divine governance, and the relationship between heaven and earth for over a millennium. Vishnu is the preserver god in the Hindu Trimurti, responsible for maintaining cosmic order known as Dharma and intervening in the world through various avatar forms whenever evil threatens to destroy the balance of existence. He is depicted with blue skin representing the infinite nature of the sky and ocean, holding 4 sacred objects in his forearms, a conch shell called Shanka that produces the primordial sound of creation, a spinning discus weapon called Sudarshana Chakra that returns to his hand after destroying enemies, a mace called Kaumadaki, and a lotus flower symbolizing spiritual liberation. Vishnu reclines on the 1,000-headed cosmic serpent Shesha floating on the ocean of milk called Kshirasagara, from whose navel grows a lotus containing Brahma the creator, while his consort Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity, sits at his feet. He rides Garuda, a giant eagle-like creature who serves as the king of birds, and takes 10 principal avatars known as the Dashavatara that appear during different cosmic epics to combat specific threats to Dharma. His most famous avatars include Rama, the 7th avatar and hero of the epic Ramayana, Krishna, the 8th avatar who delivered the Bhagavad Gita's spiritual teachings on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and according to some Hindu traditions, Buddha as the 9th avatar, though this interpretation varies across different schools. The final avatar, Kalki, is predicted to appear at the end of the current age, riding a white horse with a blazing sword to destroy evil and restart the cosmic cycle. Vaishnavism, the worship tradition devoted to Vishnu, represents the largest denomination within Hinduism with hundreds of millions of followers across India and beyond. Sun Wukong, known as the Monkey King, is a legendary figure from Chinese mythology and the central character of the 16th century novel Journey to the West, written by Wu Qingyan in 1592 CE. Though folklore about him existed earlier based on the historical Tang dynasty monk Xuanzang's actual pilgrimage to India between 629 and 645 CE. Born from a magic stone formed by primordial chaos on the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit, this immortal stone monkey possessed incredible strength, supernatural speed, and 72 transformation abilities, allowing him to change into different animals, objects, or people at will. He wields the Rui Jingu Bang, a magical iron staff originally used to measure the depths of the ocean by the Dragon King, weighing approximately 8 tons, yet able to shrink to the size of a needle or expand to cosmic proportions according to his command. Sun Wukong achieved immortality through multiple methods, including eating the peaches of immortality from the heavenly garden, consuming pills of longevity belonging to Laozi, and drinking heavenly wine, making him virtually indestructible and leading him to arrogantly declare himself the great sage equal to heaven before battling the entire celestial army. Buddha eventually defeated him by trapping him under a mountain for 500 years, until the monk Xuanzang freed him on the condition that he serve as a disciple and bodyguard on the journey to retrieve Buddhist scriptures from India. He can travel 54,000 kilometers in a single somersault using his cloud called Jindu Yun, and his rebellious yet ultimately redemptive character arc symbolizes the transformation from chaos to enlightenment, making him one of the most iconic figures in Chinese culture, with influence extending to countless adaptations in global media. Izanagi and Izanami. Izanagi and Izanami are the primordial creator deities in Shinto mythology, documented in Japan's oldest chronicles, the Kojiki compiled in 712 CE, and the Nihon Shoki compiled in 720 CE, responsible for creating the Japanese islands and giving birth to numerous kami or gods. According to tradition, this divine couple descended from heaven to the primordial ocean of chaos and used the jeweled spear Ame no Nuboko to stir the waters, and when they lifted the spear, drops of brine fell from its tip and solidified into the first island called Onagoro. They performed a marriage ritual by circling a heavenly pillar, with Izanami speaking first, but this produced deformed offspring, so they repeated the ceremony with Izanagi speaking first, successfully creating the 8 main islands of Japan, and many kami including Amaterasu the sun goddess, Tsukuyomi the moon god, and Susanoo the storm god. Tragedy struck when Izanami died from burns, while giving birth to Kagutsuchi the fire god, and the grieving Izanagi descended into Yomi, the land of the dead, to retrieve her, only to find her body decayed and rotting, crawling with maggots. When he fled in horror, she pursued him with demons and declared she would kill 1,000 people each day, to which Izanagi replied he would create 1,500 births daily, establishing the eternal cycle of death and life. Izanagi sealed the entrance to Yomi with a massive boulder, divorcing himself from Izanami, who became the goddess of death, ruling the underworld, while he continued to rule the world of the living, and this creation myth forms the foundation of Shinto understanding of the origins of Japan, the kami, and the natural cycle of existence. Garuda is the divine king of birds in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, depicted as a massive eagle-like creature with a human torso and arms, golden feathers radiating brilliant light, and powerful talons, serving as the vahana or vehicle of the god Vishnu and appearing as a protective deity across South and Southeast Asia. According to the Mahabharata and various Puranas, Garuda was born to the sage Kashyapa and his wife Vinata, but his mother was enslaved by his stepmother Kadru, the mother of all serpents, after losing a wager about the color of the divine horse Uchesravas. To free his mother from bondage, Garuda agreed to steal the Amrita, the nectar of immortality, from the gods, and he fought his way past divine guardians, including Indra, who struck him with a thunderbolt, but the weapon only caused a single feather to fall, impressing the gods with his invulnerability. Vishnu was so impressed by Garuda's strength, devotion to his mother, and nobility that he offered him a boon, and Garuda chose to become Vishnu's mount and received immortality without needing to consume the stolen nectar, which he returned to the gods. His mortal enmity with Nagas or serpents stems from his mother's enslavement by Kadru, and he is often depicted clutching snakes in his talons or beak, devouring them as his natural prey. Garuda's wings are so massive that their beating creates hurricane-force winds, and he can travel between worlds instantaneously, making him a symbol of speed, power, martial prowess, and divine protection. He appears as the national symbol of both Indonesia and Thailand, featured on government emblems, currency, and official seals, and temple iconography depicting Garuda dates back over 1,500 years across India, Nepal, Cambodia, and throughout Southeast Asia. Mazu. Mazu is the goddess of the sea and protector of sailors, fishermen, and travelers in Chinese folk religion, unique among major Chinese deities because she was originally a mortal woman named Lin Mo who lived from 960 to 987 CE in Fujian province before being deified for her miraculous powers and posthumous interventions. According to historical records and local traditions, she never cried as an infant, earning her the name Lin Mo, meaning Silent Lin, and from a young age she displayed supernatural abilities including predicting weather patterns, healing the sick, and entering trance states to communicate with the divine. At age 16, she reportedly received supernatural teachings from a Taoist master that enhanced her powers, and the most famous legend describes how at age 28, while in a meditative trance, her spirit left her body to rescue her father and brothers, whose fishing boat was caught in a violent storm at sea, though historical accounts of this event vary. She died or ascended to heaven at age 28, with witnesses claiming to have seen her rise from a mountain peak, surrounded by colorful clouds and celestial music, and soon after, sailors began reporting visions of a woman in red robes appearing during storms to guide ships to safety. The Song Dynasty Emperor officially recognized her divinity in 1123 CE, granting her the title Heavenly Consort, and subsequent dynasties elevated her status further until she became known as Qianhu, or Empress of Heaven. Over 1,500 temples dedicated to Mazu exist across China, Taiwan, and Southeast Asian communities, with her main temple in Meizhou Island, Fujian, serving as a pilgrimage site, and her birthday on the 23rd day of the third lunar month attracts millions of worshippers annually, while UNESCO recognized Mazu belief and customs as intangible cultural heritage in 2009. Brahma is the creator god in the Hindu Trimurti responsible for creating the universe and all living beings. Yet despite this cosmic importance, he has relatively few temples dedicated to him, with only one major temple at Pushkar in Rajasthan, a phenomenon that various Hindu texts, attempt to explain through curses and mythological conflicts. He is depicted with 4 heads facing the 4 cardinal directions, originally 5 heads until Shiva destroyed one for arrogance, when Brahma falsely claimed to have found the end of Shiva's infinite cosmic pillar, and his 4 faces are said to represent the 4 Vedas, the 4 Yugas or cosmic ages, and the 4 Varnas or social classes he created. Brahma has 4 arms typically holding the 4 Vedas, a water pot called kamandala used in the act of creation, a rosary or mala for keeping time, and a lotus flower symbolizing the universe emerging from the cosmic waters, while his vehicle or vahana is a swan called Hamsa, representing discernment and spiritual knowledge. According to the Puranas, Brahma emerged from a golden cosmic egg called Hiranyagarbha, or from a lotus flower growing from Vishnu's navel as he rested on the cosmic serpent, and he then created the universe through his thoughts and words over a series of cosmic cycles. His consort is Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, music, arts, and learning, though some texts describe her as his daughter, creating theological complexity that scholars have debated for centuries. Each day in Brahma's life equals 1 kalpa, which is 4.32 billion human years, and his entire lifespan is 100 Brahma years, equivalent to 311 trillion human years, after which the universe dissolves and is recreated in an endless cycle of creation and destruction that defines Hindu cosmology. Raijin and Fujin. Raijin and Fujin are the paired gods of thunder and wind in Japanese Shinto and Buddhist traditions, depicted as fearsome Oni-like demons who control the natural forces of storms, and are credited with protecting Japan from foreign invasion through their devastating power. Raijin, the god of thunder and lightning, is portrayed as a muscular demon with wild spiky hair, clawed hands and feet, and red or green skin, surrounded by a circle of taiko drums that he beats with drumsticks to create the thunder that echoes across the heavens during storms. Fujin, the god of wind, appears with similar demonic features, but carries a large white bag over his shoulder containing all the winds of the world, and when he opens this bag, he releases hurricanes, typhoons, and powerful gales that can destroy ships and flatten buildings. According to Japanese historical records, Fujin's winds are believed to have destroyed the Mongol invasion fleets led by Kublai Khan in both 1274 and 1281, creating the kamikaze, or divine wind, that saved Japan from conquest, and became a symbol of divine protection. These deities are referenced in the Nihon Shoki and various Fudoki regional records from the 8th century, though their visual representation became standardized during the Edo period between 1603 and 1868. The most famous artistic depiction appears on folding screens painted by Toaraya Sotatsu in the early 1600s, now housed at Kennenji Temple in Kyoto, showing the dynamic power of both gods in swirling compositions. They appear together as protective guardian figures on the Kaminarimon or Thunder Gate at Tokyo's Sensoji Temple, flanking the entrance as massive statues, and remain popular subjects in traditional and contemporary Japanese art, tattoos, and media as symbols of nature's awesome and uncontrollable power. Hanuman. Hanuman is the monkey deity celebrated for his absolute devotion to Lord Rama and his incredible strength, playing a central role in the Hindu epic Ramayana, composed by the sage Valmiki approximately between 500 and 100 BCE, and he remains one of the most popular gods in contemporary Hinduism, with millions reciting the 40-verse Hanuman Chalisa prayer daily. According to tradition, Hanuman is the son of Vayu, the wind god, and Anjana, a celestial nymph cursed to be born as a monkey. And as a mischievous child, he mistook the sun for a ripe fruit and leaped into the sky to eat it, prompting the king of gods Indra to strike him with a thunderbolt that broke his jaw, giving him the name Hanuman, which means one with a disfigured jaw. The gods felt remorse and granted him numerous blessings, including invulnerability to weapons, immunity to fire, the ability to change size at will from smaller than an ant to larger than a mountain, and immortality, making him one of the 8 immortal beings called Chiranjeevi, who will live until the end of the current cosmic age. In the Ramayana, when Rama's wife Sita was kidnapped by the demon king Ravana and taken to Lanka, Hanuman leaped across the ocean covering hundreds of kilometers in a single bound to find her, and after demons set his tail on fire as punishment for causing destruction, he used the flames to burn down large portions of Lanka before returning to report Sita's location. His most famous feat involved carrying an entire mountain called Dronagiri, containing life-saving medicinal herbs when he could not identify the specific plant needed to heal Rama's wounded brother Lakshmana, demonstrating his strength and determination. Hanuman is depicted tearing open his chest to reveal Rama and Sita residing in his heart, the ultimate symbol of devotion, and he serves as patron deity of wrestlers, martial artists, and athletes, while representing the spiritual ideal that complete surrender to the divine grants unlimited power and protection. If you want to see more, click the video on screen now.